Good evening. And happy 4th of July holiday weekend almost. This is the Tibet Center Buddhist Meditation and Study Center, and we are in our parsonages in South Orange, New Jersey. We operate in New York City and northern New Jersey. And we're focusing on the Lamrim Chenmo stages of the path to enlightenment. If there's anyone for whom you want us to pray for who's passed away recently, put their names in the chat box now because there is a delay. So the sooner you do it, the better. And at the end, we'll mention their name. All the prayers we say, as we always mention, are on our website, thetibetcenter.org. In the FAQ section, you scroll down to prayers and you'll find them there. So the first prayer we'll recite is the prayer for the spreading of the teachings throughout the length and breadth of the West by the previous Ling Rinpoche, Yongzin Ling Rinpoche, which is still Yongzin Ling Rinpoche. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West. For all the people living here, together with their near ones, who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them, may all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness, may they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished. The Heart Sutra. Thus have I heard once. The Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the Samadhi, which examines the Dharmas, called profound illumination, and at the same time noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas and their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, "How should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge?" And Avalokiteshvara answered, "Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the five skandhas and their natural emptiness. Form is empty. Emptiness itself is form. Emptiness is not separate from form. Form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Thus all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance to old age and death, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge, and since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear. They transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future, by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed, Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisoha. O Shariputra, this is how a Bodhisattva Mahasattva should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, profound, transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering in the world, with its gods, humans, Asuras, and Gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praised the words of the Blessed One. The refuge in Bodhisattva vow, which is called generating bodhicitta here, we say these verses 3 times. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. So as is our tradition, started by the Venerable Nicky Vreeland, Rato Kensa Vreeland, not Lectin. We will say one round of Om Mani Padme Hum, the mantra of Avalokiteshvara, the personification of the compassion of the Buddhas. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. So, tonight we'll continue with the Dalai Lama's How to Develop Compassion. It's in 2 places in English. It's in the Matthew Ricard book. It's called Cultivating It, On the Path to Enlightenment, which is an anthology of different modern teachers and ancient teachers. Very good study book. Good introduction to the breadth of Tibetan Buddhism. It's also in this book in English, which is called The Compassionate Life. It's chapter 2 of this text. So we went over this text on Monday night, but I can review it quickly for you. Just certain highlighted areas. Since I marked up this book, I'll use this copy. We're talking about love and compassion. It's important to understand, to cultivate as part of our being. We're remaking our being is what we're doing. And we are awakening our Buddha nature. That's what the Lam Rim is all about. That's what the spiritual path is all about. And in this context, we're doing it to benefit others, not only ourselves. So cultivating love and compassion, it's important to understand what these two terms refer to. In the Buddhist tradition, this is very interesting. They are two aspects of the same feeling of benevolence. Two aspects of the same feeling of benevolence. Love is the desire that all beings may be happy, and compassion is the wish that they may be free of suffering. That's it. That's how it's analyzed in the Buddhist this tradition. So it's only to ask a question, is it possible to cultivate love and compassion and have less anger and hatred and jealousy in our minds? And his answer is, right away, yes, without hesitation. You may not agree with me for now, he says, but at least remain open to the possibility. Let's think about it together, and perhaps we will find some answers. So he's first now giving you a very good way of going about everything, taking the confusion out. If you watch your mind, everything's going on at once, and now it's this that has my attention, that over here, I have to do this, oh yeah, I forgot to do that. How do we start to categorize things in our mind? How do we start to sort our lives out? He's saying all kinds of happiness and sufferings can be included in two categories, those of the mind and those of the body. That's it. That's our concern. What's going on in the mind, and how's the body? For most of us, he said, the mind plays the most decisive role in feelings of well-being and ill-being. In comparison, the role of our physical condition is secondary, unless we're seriously ill, etc. The mind can be affected by the most insignificant events, so it is appropriate to make more effort to pacify the mind than to ensure one's physical comfort. And of course, if you're taking your own inventory, what's what? The body leaves. It's got a shelf life, that's it. The mind goes on. You have to be introduced to that concept. Buddhism believes in life after life because the mind, not being physical, has no electric charge, it doesn't have weight, it doesn't have a color, a shape, whatever. But it's running the whole show. Something is here that we've overlooked. So we want to start to improve ourselves. The mind, it's always there. So is it possible to transform the mind, His Holiness says? He says, despite my limited experience, he's being very humble. Yes, I'm convinced. With regular training, and the word regular is emphasized, consistency, continuity, it's possible. And here's a very nice paragraph, about 10 lines. What we call mind is a very curious phenomenon. Sometimes it is rigid and resistant to any change, but it can also become very flexible, provided we make constant efforts to transform it and become convinced by reflection that this change is not only possible, but it's necessary. It's necessary to raise ourselves to our true destiny. Buddhahood, also on the way, relaxed happiness, more and more intelligence, more and more awareness, more and more, if you want, miraculous powers as you get higher up, so you can help others more effectively. That's important. It's necessary. So what are the enemies of compassion? He said the main one is egocentrism. He's using a psychological term, egocentrism. It affects all of us in varying degrees. And what's the problem with it? It prevents us from feeling love and compassion towards others. The focus, the attention, the energy is all me. What's going on with others? You're not paying attention when you're really bound by egocentrism. When the ghost of eye-holding haunts you, as the 7th Dalai Lama says. To be truly happy, His Holiness goes on, one must have a mind at peace, and peace of mind will come only through altruistic love. He's saying that's how peace of mind comes to you, not by just shutting down all thoughts, sitting there blankly, yeah, I'm at peace. Altruistic love. It's a big order, and it doesn't seem, very logical at first. But if you practice, you'll see that what he's talking about is true. We have to use an effort to use all the circumstances of daily life to change our thoughts and behavior. Of course, as we always say, you're always watching the mind, or you're always aware of it, at least on the side. You're doing business, instead of doing this, studying, whatever. Always take inventory. What's my motivation all the time? What's my motivation? What's my intention? Intention is karma. Any act done with intention marks you and causes you to experience that, either good or bad events in the future. That's what goes on. There's nothing fixed. You fix it, in a way. And he talks about, you have to know what the words really mean, love and compassion. He's saying the love parents have for their children is biased and limited. It's not bad. It's very good. And it's used as an example, but compared to unconditional love that the Buddha is talking about, it's less, a lot less. So, because the unconditional love without any requirements, the person's friend, enemy, whatever, the being, animal, whatever, ghost, hell beings, unconditional love. Oh, the alarm went off. Someone must be coming in. And here's the little advice to the lovelorn from His Holiness the Dalai Lama. You just walked in time. Advice for the lovelorn. Have a seat, relax. Have a drink. You're going to need it. No, we're not here, not anymore. The feeling of being in love, this is very good, very modern, is usually more of a form of attachment, based on mental projections and fantasies, than true altruistic love. Your obsession with X or Y, Miss X, Mr. Y, I don't know. He goes on, the best evidence for this, what do you mean? How do you back this up? Is that once these projections change, the feeling disappears and sometimes turns into its opposite. Have you heard of divorce court? Where these things go on. The best evidence for this, okay. Desire can be so strong that the one to whom we are attached appears to us to be free from defects, even if they really have quite a lot. We're blind. Love is blind. All right, we'll allow that one in. At the same time, we exaggerate their qualities, etc. Such distortions of reality are signs that our love is motivated more by our personal needs rather than a real concern for others. That's a very heavy statement he made there, and it's very helpful in daily life. Not only with the people, but with things. I want this, I want that. You're projecting more value on it than it really has or can possibly have, and you're setting yourself up for a fall. Yes, you can enjoy things, but put them in their context. We say this all the time, but it's true. And we have to catch ourselves, because instinctively, boom, we're magnetized to this or that thing or person, food, whatever. Rubber duck collection, I don't know. Who knows? All right. It is possible to experience a love without partiality. That is very hard to do, but very possible, and we have to do it. It's necessary. It takes time, so we have to be patient and not give ourselves bad marks every 10 seconds. Go with it. We have the intention to develop a love without partiality. It's going to take lifetimes, maybe, unless you're unusual. Let it roll that way. Let it happen. It should not come from a simple emotional reaction. It should be based on reflection and lead to a firm commitment. So why should I develop this compassion and love, etc.? And you have to think of the reasons, the benefits. Once you're convinced of anything logically, you have power against your emotional pulls, this way and that way. So wait a minute, it's impossible for this thing to be, really looks like that. Can't be. Because you've studied and you've come to terms in your own mind, reasoned it out with your own words, how things should be, and how sometimes you're drawn to them and thinking they're a certain way. Goes all the way up to the realization of emptiness, but at the same time, normal without a realization of emptiness, think of the benefits and faults of a lot of things and realize we're giving certain things and people sublime powers that they may not have. Most likely not. So a simple emotional reaction should be based on reflection and lead to a firm commitment. That's how logic and all this study that we do is really your friend. It really holds you from the extremes. And it makes your perceptions much more sharper and much more in tune with the nature of the way things are. Based on reflection lead to affirm, then this love that we want to generate will no longer depend on how others treat us. We don't care. We know we're supposed to universally. The goal of the Buddhist practice is to cultivate this kind of love, sincerely wishing happiness to all beings in the universe. And then he says, this is obviously not easy. Okay. So we should forget about it? No. Put it in your, you know how to handle. I don't have to tell you. Let's reason like this. Whether others are beautiful or ugly, benevolent or cruel, they're all sentient beings like us, whether we like it or not. And like, he didn't say that. And like us, they want to be happy and not suffer, which is their right, recognizing that all beings are equal in their aspiration and their right to happiness. That's where the equality is. Equal in their aspiration for happiness and their right to happiness. Then we feel a sense of empathy that brings us closer to them. As we get accustomed to this impartial altruism, key word, we finally experience a sense of universal responsibility. These come to us as a result of the exercises we do, the reasonings we do. We don't say, I have to develop a sense of universal responsibility. No. Do the exercises, think things over, and open up. Then these things come in. You didn't realize you had these qualities. They come in sometimes like in a dream. Suddenly someone's in the room. But they're there, and you're talking. These things come in that way, they say. Don't look at me. All right. You might say, to wish all sentient beings to be happy is unrealistic. And a lot of people think it's more effective to start with the beings who we have a direct link with. My kids, my husband, my wife, whatever, etc. And it's pointless to think of all beings as a whole because their number is unlimited. In other contexts, His Holiness said, the objection would have some relevance, but our goal is to extend our kindness to all forms of life that can experience well-being and suffering. We are on the road, or the path, or whatever you want to call it, the subway, to enlightenment, full enlightenment. That's what a Buddha does. That's how a Buddha thinks, if they actually don't think the way we think, but that's their attitude. Universal love, universal responsibility. And at the stage of Buddhahood, you don't have to have a cognition. I want to do this. It comes automatically. There's help needed. You're there in the right form. As a result of your wishing prayers, may I relieve suffering with being there. All these prayers we repeat all the time. They're not going to waste. They're impacting the mind. It comes up finally in their fulfillment. The necessary for no motivation at all of a Buddha. It's just automatically motivated to be compassionate, to be wise, to do the right thing at the right time to everyone. Amazing. But it's hard for us to even imagine that kind of a mind right now. And he now says, obviously self-centeredness, and at a deeper level, our belief in an ego existing as an autonomous entity will do everything possible to dissuade us. The ego doesn't want this to happen. The ego will even imitate spiritual practice, as one Lama said. The ego wants to direct its own funeral. It's funny, but it's true. Unconditional love is only really possible when the concept of an independent self has faded away. And there's your connection between emptiness and compassion, emptiness and love. The idea of an independent self, not dependent on anything but standing alone, is impossible. That's what blocks us from unconditional love. This does not prevent us from starting right away at our level and gradually progressing. So don't say, oh, I can't because the ego's going to do the way it's laid out, and the practice of different levels in the Lamrim will take care of it. So where to start? He said you'd have to get rid of anger and hatred, which are the biggest obstacles to love and compassion. We don't control them, they will poison our entire existence and make it impossible to taste the joy of loving others. He's giving you a hint. There's a great feeling of joy when you have this universal love. Some people say that anger, it's necessary. They don't see it as a negative emotion. Sometimes you need a burst of anger and telling people off. It gives you, confidence and energy, etc. The energy that your anger brings, His Holiness says, is blind energy. You cannot know with certainty what effects, positive or negative, it will produce in the end. When you lose your temper, you close the access to the rational part of the brain, and this is correlated by Western psychology. You lose it, so they say. I never get it. Yeah. I can vouch for that. So the energy of anger is rarely reliable and can lead us to act in ways that are sometimes highly destructive, can lead you into jail or whatever. When it reaches a certain intensity, it makes us lose all reason. So we think of these things, and that automatically motivates us to start to attenuate our temper. Modulate, get it lower. We have an energy as powerful as anger, but this time it is uncontrollable. As it comes from anger's most effective antidotes, kindness, patience, and reason. We have to develop the strength of those factors through familiarity, through thinking about sincerely to ourselves, is it worthwhile? How do I do it? And all this takes time. Again, and personally says, I think this is true inner strength. It's not a sign of weakness. Anger is a sign of weakness, not a sign of strength. Anger is what? The fuel of anger is frustrated desire. I want this, and I'm not getting it. I don't want this, and I'm getting it. End of story. On a little level, on a grand level, So let's see. We'll cover a lot. I don't want to keep repeating what we did the other night. Friends and enemies, the next little topic. So those who create this kind of difficulty for us are generally not our friends but our enemy, people who cause trouble, etc., fight us at work. Everybody has stories about work. So we really want to learn something. We should consider our enemies to be the best teachers we could possibly find. And that is hard, but if you logically think it out when you're nice and quiet at home or even wherever you are, it's true, because if you want to learn patience, you need someone who annoys you. You can't learn it from a kind-hearted mom or a very, friendly person who's there for you all the time. That won't teach you patience. A pain in the neck teaches you patience, or pain in the whatever. It's essential for creating love and compassion, the universal love and compassion. And we can't learn patience if we had no enemies. You always hear the story, a teacher kept someone around who was a really pain in the neck and disruptive, etc. He did it not because I don't think he needed it, but he wanted to show the example to everyone, because the teacher was fairly realized. So these people deserve our gratitude, but you won't find me giving them any. But they who ultimately contribute most to our peace of mind. They contribute most to our peace of mind because they get rid of anger. We learn to handle it. We might add that it often happens in and around our personal lives that enemies become friends as circumstances change. May it happen instantly. So we can get on with it. Let's see. If you neglect the happiness of others, in the long term, you're the loser. And he says a little thing on laughter here, a few lines. I love laughter, but there are different kinds of laughter. There is artificial, sarcastic, diplomatic, or hypocritical laughter. Those kinds can cause suspicion and even fear, but genuine laughter creates an impression of freshness. Funny statement. An impression of freshness, which I believe is a characteristic of human beings. Freshness, spontaneity, maybe, that's what he's talking about. It's not when someone tells a joke, people get instantly laughing. It's not conceptual. It's something very nice. So who's got jokes? Mail them in if you're online. Send them in. Email them in. What else? So the Buddhist teachers, I'm skipping around, speak of 84,000 types of harmful thoughts. I don't know if there's 84,001 now. But it's a big number. Why? Because we have all these thoughts that are different types and they're all harmful. To which correspond 84,000 methods or antidotes taught by the Buddha. So there's something to counteract everything that comes into it. And you look at your mind, a whole lot of stuff is there. It is a real stew of stuff. I mean, do not expect to find, as if by magic, the miracle cure that will free your mind from all disturbing forces. There are 84,000 antidotes because they're needed. A large number, in other words. I don't know. In order to obtain significant results, it is necessary to apply many different methods for a long time and have patience and determination. That's how you train the mind. Harder than training a circus line, probably. I don't know. I never did that. Have you trained the circus line? How about a line in the wild? So do not expect to attain enlightenment straight away from first steps on the path of Dharma, which a lot of people do. I remember I attended a 3-day retreat, and people, it was like the last day, and one guy, well, we got one more day. He was really expecting to have some explosion in his mind, and he's going to ascend to the clouds or something. And no, we don't even know the RABCs yet. Buddhist teachings on love and compassion often use aphorism like, don't worry about your own welfare, but prefer that of others. These formulas can sometimes frighten us, but they need to be understood in their context. That of a training aimed at teaching us to be genuinely concerned with the suffering of others. So we have to be able to take care of ourselves and all that. That's very true. That can be taken to an extreme, though. We have to be careful. But there should be a sense of benevolence towards ourselves. Not this, oh, you idiot, why do you always do that? Quiet. I made a mistake. Pick it up, keep going. Get up off the floor, dust yourself off, and blah, 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 The last section of this little essay is impartiality. Since genuine compassion is necessarily universal and impartial. So that's the definition, universal and impartial. To achieve it, we must cultivate the impartiality toward all beings. According to Buddhism, those we consider as friends and relatives in this life could have been our worst enemies in a previous life. Yeah, because we have connections. It could be positive, and then now something else is happening. The same reasoning can be applied to those we currently consider as enemies, even if they do not do us great harm. They could have been our best friends or even our mother in past lives. Reflecting on the fluctuating and interchangeable nature of our relations, which is very important. They fluctuate, they change, because people aren't consistently one thing. They're affected by causes and conditions, and of course the training in their mind, their mental continuum, whatever it was. And they're not in control, because if people were in control, they'd never suffer. They're not in control. Certain karmic debts come up to be paid. That's it. So then they react and go crazy, and they're actually making it worse. So we shouldn't react and go crazy when they do, because we're making it worse. That's Shantideva all the time. If you don't know what Shantideva's book is, it's called The Bodhisattva's Way of Life, one of them. Bodhisattva Karivatara. Very good book. If you haven't heard of it before, now you're hearing of it. It's the Bible, so to speak. I don't know. It's better than the Bible. Mental training requires a certain detachment. This kind of mental training. Friends and enemies. But then again, we must understand what is meant by that term. Some people think that Buddhist detachment is synonymous with indifference, but this is wrong. We're not talking about, never mind what's going on there, just you stay quiet, never mind, I don't care what, no, that's not what we're doing here. It simply means standing back from the superficial considerations that involve classifying one person as a friend and another as an enemy in the background of the extent of time and how things come in and out of our being. This type of detachment is the opposite of the indifference to others because it is the very basis of authentic compassion that one feels for all beings impartially. One of the hints you get of this is watch your emotion, because emotions sometimes swoop you away, even though, and they trump your logic. I hate to use that word. They overpower your logic. So that's part of our training. You do that even in everyday life, you'll be happy. Never mind the spiritual path. You can handle things. So anyway, that's our Dalai Lama input for tonight. And back to the Lamrim Chenmo. We're using this text, Practicing the Path, a modern translation by Yangtze Rinpoche. He's in the continuum, the spiritual continuum of Geshe Sopa. He was Geshe Sopa's teacher in a previous life. Now Geshe Sopa was his teacher. He's passed. Lama Zopa Rinpoche was also a student of Geshe Sopa, and Lama Zopa Rinpoche wrote the forward to this book. Geshe Sopa wrote the preface or like. Good afternoon. Eugene, how are you? So, relax. We're talking about, we went to the Lamrim now after His Holiness's little speech. And we are, where's my notes? Where's my notes? I forgot where we left off on this, but you have the text. Well, if you don't have the text, I'll give you the section. We did the 4 qualities of Lamrim Chenmo the other night, so no need to repeat that. So we make a lot of mistakes in our life towards not knowing, and that's why we read. That's all. We'll go that far. We already mentioned that part. All right, let me give you a page. And then we did the Heart Sutra. Spiritual teacher, we're usually told not to rely on because that's somewhat cultural, and the devotion that people show towards a guru that they did in the past anyway, I don't know about the modern world, in Asia and other places, it's a little strange here. The guru walks in, you stand up, the guru this, you go to his feet, you know that. That's not mentioned here, and I remember as far back in the 70s, children said, don't mention. We don't mention this. It's not, in the tantric context, yes. Very, very much so. It's very important, because you're handing yourself over to that person after you've known them many years. There's a one-on-one relationship. It's culturally the habit, like when the Dalai Lama gives these talks, and everybody's bowing like this, everyone gets down low. A new Westerner is not going to go for that. So but there's some elements of that you think about, but we won't go into them. And the qualities of a disciple, the teacher you have to examine as much as 12 years. For a tantric one, that's not an exaggeration, because they are taking over you. You're doing this and that, which you don't understand, but you have such trust and a feeling of oneness with the person. Page 63, if you got this text. I got my notes here. The meditation room, preparing to meditate, etc. You should clean the room. It should be pleasant to go in, just like you fix up things, you want to have people over, and everyone like, oh, I like what you did with this, and blah, blah, blah. You're inviting Buddhas and Bodhisattvas who actually know what you're doing. They're omniscient. You posited an omniscient being. They know what you're doing. They know your intention doing it. They have the ability to come there, even though you can't see them, and they want to come there and help you, and they know how to help you. All these little things. So you're inviting these guests. And so you should think that way, and it's very helpful. So, if we keep our meditation room clean, thinking that this will prove to others how well we are practicing, even if our physical space is spotless, our mind is polluted by the 8 worldly dharmas. You remember the story of Ben Kunji or something? Who was polished up his benefactor was coming, his sponsor was coming. So he polished the water offerings, made them nice, put fresh fruit, did this, that, and the other. Yeah, really made it look nice. And then he said, "You phony. You're doing this because someone's coming now." So he took ashes from the incense thing and threw it all over the place. And someone said, "That's the best offering you could ever make." Of course, he saw what was going on in his mind, and he corrected it. So the physical thing is one thing, but what goes on in here is big. That's a famous story. I wish I could have told it with more detail and suspense and everything else, maybe some music. But that's it. You got the idea. He's saying, keep on meditation. This will prove to others how well you're practicing. The mind is then polluted by the 8 worldly dharmas. Here's the big key. The very best of all offerings of cleanliness is the cleanliness of mind. So we shouldn't judge people. The Rinpoche's apartment, there's everything here, and there are books all over the place, a little water up. Oh, it wasn't really, you're going to invite diplomats or heads of state to you. But he had cleanliness of mind. So another advantage of keeping our meditation area clean is that it becomes a very inviting place for our own minds. We like it. There's my favorite, toy from childhood. No, come on. I'm offering it. People do those things. And we will want to spend time there. That's it. You want to attract yourself there. And sometimes you really do a good job. Going to a room like that changes your mood without you planning on it. Oh, that's good. This condition can become a cause to further enhance our virtue. I'm on page 64. Those of you who are keeping score have the scorecard. It's underneath the listing of the 8 worldly dharmas. In accordance with the tradition of the lineage lamas of the Kadampas, we should have 4 main objects of refuge. You have a book, a Shakyamuni statue, etc. That's not that important, but yeah, it is. If you can get these things, a stupa, we should have them all here. Copy of the Heart Sutra, either just a little text or the 10,000 line, the 8,000 line, the 25,000 line, or the 100,000 line, whatever you want. They have them in Tibet, and they put the books above the statues in the Tibetan monastery. The big, tall thing, and books are more important. We shouldn't set up the altar according to the material value of the objects, and putting holy objects around the house solely for decoration is also a mistake, as in placing holy objects in irrelevant areas like hallways or passageways or near the door. New York apartments, everything is near the door, so don't worry about it. The door is the apartment, practically. You have to walk outside to change your mind, as the joke goes. All right. It's good to have them there. If we are able to view them on a daily basis, if we are seeing them for the first time, we receive great benefit. And you are seeing them the first time, because the mind is new every instant. And it's very beneficial for animals to see it, for insects, hungry ghosts, whoever beings we can't perceive. If they're there, they're doing their job. So it imprints the mind. And our offerings should be free of material contamination on 65. Not something you stole and you put up there. You know. The next is arranging the meditation seat. Now, some people, the traditional way was the 7-fold posture, etc., if you can. Sitting upright, though, is very good because that's very important, as much as you can. If you have an injury, you can't, but because it straightens the channels within the body, so the energy winds flow more freely and the mind is clear. Energy winds right now, unless you're a yogi, we don't see them. But we react to them. They're affecting us all the time. They're there. He said among the 7 points, the most important is the arrow straight back. And you could imagine but not that way. Slowly stretch a little, and then one teacher said, mine should be like a rosary of crystals reaching up above your head all the way up. The spine should be that. Imagine that. And your head is a little bent, relaxed. Zen, read the Zen text, they'll tell you exactly how to sit. And they'll come around with a stick if you don't sit. Why do they do that? They know by the shifting of your body that your mind is going into laxity or something. And they, oh, that's a skilled person walking around with the stick, not the students, but the, and they're supposed to, thank you all. Arigato. All right, 7-limb practice. This is a bomb. This is very important. This is on page 66, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see the time. Hey, come on, watch. Only 15 minutes. There's 7 components to a good prayer. You can do them in an instant. One Lama said, the time I take from putting my foot in the stirrup and stepping over the horse, I can do the 7 limbs. I can do the whole path. They're that fast. But there's certain things you should constantly be reviewing. So we don't have horses here, not yet anyway. Things keep going the way they are, maybe. First is prostration, a big topic. Mainly it's in the mind. You can make a big deal of doing this and yes, physical thing is good, it's healthy and all that. But so I'll read it exactly from the text, not my little précis, because I don't want to miss anything. Prostrations purify the obstacles of our negative karma and thereby enable us to accumulate merit. They open up. You're giving up. Mm-hmm. Prostrations can be physical, verbal, or mental. Oh, so there's a lot of attitude here. This is different. Everybody thinks it's just this. Not everybody. So we can do elaborate or very short forms of prostration. Actually, any physical gesture that we make as a demonstration of respect is a form of physical prostration. If you say something, don't just raise finger to Buddha stuff, something like that. That's a form of prostration. It's recognizing who they are and acknowledging that you want to follow them. In the various prayers of prostration, such as the King of Prayers, the King of Prayers dedication, we offer prostration to all the Buddhas of the 10 directions and to all the Buddhas of the 3 times. They say it's very important to think big. Making offerings, think big. Not just this world, all over the place. All the Buddhas you can possibly think, filling space as far as you can go out with your thought. They say that's a big deal. That conditions the mind nicely. That's what they say. I don't know, but that's... In accordance with this prayer, we visualize replicas of our own body equaling the number of the atoms of this world emanating from us and imagine a complete field of merit before each one of them to which they prostrate. Amazing. You're emanating all your... And this is very important because this is like tantric practice woven into the basic Buddhism. You imagine all these things going out from you, duplicates of yourself, prostrating to merit fields, to all of them. Complete merit fields, almost like atoms in space or something like that. Why? That practice creates the momentum so that when you are a Buddha, you automatically emanate whatever is necessary anywhere. That's what's happening. So it's not a waste of time. It's a big deal. And it's not hard. You just imagine it. You don't have to charge. They don't charge you for each one. Oh, you emanated 50 billion. It's going to cost you. No. So this is a good deal. This is the mental form of prostration. And reciting the prayers of praise and admiration is the verbal form of prostration. And then he's telling you how to physically do. We should put our hands together, leaving a space inside with the 2 thumbs folded into the hollow, like this. Not, like pressed hams here. No, this. There's a lot of reasons for that. I won't elaborate, but there's a whole oral tradition in there. The shape of the outside of the hand symbolizes the form body of the Buddha, if you want to really get it. The shape of the inside represents the truth body of a Buddha. There's other explanations to that, but the idea is not a meaningless gesture. You'll find that all their mudras and everything have meaning. And they not only have meaning, but they also alter the energy patterns in your body, so they claim. If you can. Don't worry about it. Most of us handshake. The old guy like me, handshake, it's a joke. But in its entirety, this hand gesture symbolizes that our ultimate goal is to achieve the 2 bodies of a Buddha. That's what we're doing here, guys. The physical and the mental body, etc. With the hands in prostration mudra, we can touch our crown, forehead, throat, and heart. Some people only do 3. So this. Sometimes they'll come around and bless those things. Sometimes they go lower. Ooh. I'm joking. Some people 5, the throat, the heart, and the navel. No. Sometimes he's saying in Dharma says no little sitting space, so everybody wants to sit down as quickly so as not to lose their places. So they do quick prostrations, and you've seen it on the video and stuff. All right, that's a problem, but he says it's not proper, but that's the way things are. When you're doing many prostrations, you should not use the part of the prostration where you are flat on the ground to take a break if you get tired. This is very improper. Yeah, the most important thing is to jump up, because that shows you're not under the control of these things, and so you plan ahead. Boom, as soon as you hit the floor, you bounce up. I'm bouncing up out of the lower realms to help us. I'm not going to be weighed down by samsara. It's a good, you're imprinting your mind. But everyone likes to lie there. So you got to plan ahead, not do 100 when you can't even do 5. All right, I can do 5 in a row, right? Better. And there's ways of doing it. There are prostration rooms in some of these centers. I remember in Vermont, the Dharmadhatu Center, they had a whole prostration rooms with boards and everything. And people were doing their 100,000 prostrations. Then Nundru. You're cold? We'll lower the temperature, lower the AC. All right. We want to help you. We want to be offering. We already talked to, but he's saying here. That's what he says. We get the idea of offerings. It should be, what you have. If you don't have anything, you visualize. That's all. Because remember, the mind is prime. Confession. Now, everybody has a problem with that, especially if they're brought up in certain traditions. The limb of confession or purification. Oh, okay, that's better, which is very important. The best way to purify a negative karma is by the method of the 4 opponent powers. We should begin with the power of the basis, which means taking refuge and generating bodhicitta. Where are we starting from? Well, we've decided that Buddhism is something good, so we're going to take refuge in the Buddha, accept his or her teachings as what we're doing, and we're motivating ourselves to help others, so we generate bodhicitta. We're not doing it just to be a big high-status person, but to help others. It's a means to an end. To counteract the negative actions that we have done in relation to holy objects, we take refuge. To counteract the negative actions that we have done in relation to other sentient beings, we generate bodhicitta. There's the reason. Always a reason, and it makes sense. All our negative actions are done in relation to either or both of these 2 objects. Both. But true. So, again, there's a reason. Next, we should generate the power of regret, and this is the key to the whole thing. The power of regret. It doesn't mean, I'm a piece of crap, I can't do that. No. Regret. If by mistake we were to drink poison, right away, we want to take the antidote to that poison to counteract the pain. Our regret should follow the same pattern. This is not good. What did I do? Get rid of it. Hurry up. That's the attitude we should, without getting panicky. But regret powers everything. You're using that energy that comes up. There's a little bit of fear there, stuff, channeling it the right way to suppress these negative actions that you've done. And in the future, you won't have the compulsion to do them again as much. The more the regret, the less problem. It should be as sincere and as quick as if we had taken poison by mistake. Maria said it. Imagine there are 3 people who have eaten the same poison. They went to McDonald's. I don't know. Maybe, who knows? The first person has died from it. The next is violently ill, and the last person has yet to experience any effect at all. Having seen the effects of that poison, the last individual will do everything he or she can to remove it from his or her system so as not have to suffer like the others. Oh, let me do something right away. So you gradually come to the conclusion, as you have trouble in life, etc., and you know that it's caused by your past actions and karmic seeds that are there and not suppressed and not, at least, you can't obliterate them, but you can obliterate their coming up. You always have a residue of them, but they don't cause trouble. The more you learn, the more you think you have a better regret. I'm thinking. Well, it's very, very important, as we said, blah, 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 no, 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 no. Others who have also accumulated negative karma already experience the results of the lower realms or are on their deathbeds waiting for their karma to ripen. But we ourselves have yet to die. Our karma is yet to ripen. Like the person who has been poisoned, in order not to experience the resultant suffering, we should do everything we can to apply the antidote while we are able. Therefore, we should sincerely regret all our negative actions. And that's not hard to do. It's just a conversation with yourself in the internal lab of your mind, the nice room that you create in your mind. Nobody knows. Nobody's telling, in case you're thinking that way. On the basis of the power of regret, so the energy is coming in. The antidote, we apply the antidote, and the antidote purifies the effects of negative karmic actions. The very best antidotes are meditating on emptiness, meditating on bodhicitta, and meditating on compassion. Emptiness, bodhicitta, compassion. Just think about them if you don't have thorough knowledge of them. Who does? That's all. Sounds good, you think, something like. Other antidotes include recitation of the names of 35 Buddhas, offering prostration, reciting the Vajrasattva mantra, and so forth. So a lot of things dedicated to cleaning your karma. So we have to stop. We're only have 4 minutes, so we have prayers. Any names, Darren?
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, we're praying for, we did the Monday night, my sister-in-law Norma Santos SPINA, Alex Del Vecchio, oh boy,
Yeah.
he's gone.
93.
Oh, he is that long? How old I am? I remember when he was active. The guy's 93. So, or anyone else, all these people involved in the conflicts all over the world, certainly are enough of them. True to the recollection of the Noble Three Jewels. I prostrate to the Omniscient One. Thus the Buddha, Bhagavat, Tathagata, Arahat, Samyak Sambuddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans is the Buddha Bhagavat. The Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those who long with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strength cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He's not stained by the realm of desire. He's not stained by the realm of form. He's not affected by the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He has completely cut the knots. He is completely liberated from extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of the Buddha Bhagavats who arise in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavat. The Holy Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavat teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma which is taught by the Bhagavat is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of the great jnana, they enter completely, they enter insightfully, they enter straightforwardly, they enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration with joined palms. They are worthy of receiving prostration. They are a field of glorious merit. They are completely capable of receiving all gifts. They are an object of generosity. They are a great object of complete generosity. The protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue, I prostrate to the Tathagata. Pure, the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous, liberating from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme, ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma, which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivable, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. So verbal prostration, we just did it, see? As soon as we hear it, we take it up. 8 verses on training the mind. With the determination to accomplish the highest welfare of all sentient beings, who surpass even a wish-granting jewel, I will learn to hold them supremely dear. Whenever I associate with others, I will learn to think of myself as the lowest amongst all, and respectfully hold others to be supreme from the very depths of my heart. In all actions I will learn to search into my mind, and as soon as a disturbing emotion arises, endangering myself and others, I will firmly face and avert it. I will learn to cherish ill-natured beings, and those oppressed by strong misdeeds and sufferings, as if I had found a precious treasure difficult to find. When others out of jealousy treat me badly, with abuse, slander, and so on, I will learn to take all loss and offer the victory to them. When the one whom I have benefited with great hope unreasonably hurts me very badly, I will learn to view that person as an excellent spiritual guide. In short, I will learn to offer to everyone without exception all help and happiness directly and indirectly, and respectfully take upon myself all harm and suffering of my mothers. I will learn to keep all these practices undefiled by the stains of the 8 worldly concerns, and by understanding all phenomena as like illusions, be released from the bondage of attachment. And finally, the prayer for the swift return of Rato Chungla Rinpoche. His picture is here. I'll get out of the way. You can see his picture. Written by His Holiness Dalai Lama. Exalted wisdom of all victors gathered in a drop. Sole refuge manifest in the form of the one wearing saffron robes, Guru Lozang Tubuang Dorje Chang. Please bear witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great torch of doctrine, accomplishing from long ago the vast waves of aspirational prayers, Lord of speech of the Victor Losang's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. Though holding the commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guest in unsurpassed great awakening, yet you have withdrawn the activities of the form body that serves the welfare of others. Is that worthy of the supreme among beings, the Bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you till cyclic existence's end, to abandon your commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by Bodhicitta, drawn by 7 steeds. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness, please come swiftly as an unrivaled supreme emanation, full holder of the sage's teachings and wish-fulfilling jewel, return as the glory of Losang Tempe. Magnificent truth of the 3 precious jewels, Mahakala, Karmayama, and Sri Mata Devi, and the ocean of Dharma protectors, may you spontaneously fulfill our wish, the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh moon-like face. So our next Dharma talk will be Monday night. There's no Tara this weekend. Those of you in the United States, have a happy 4th of July, despite what's going on. So 7 o'clock on 30th Street, was it? I got the address already. 151 West 30th Street, 3rd floor, 7 o'clock. And the following Wednesday, we'll be right back here in the parsonage in South Orange. Again, the topic will be the Lamrim Chenmo and related subjects, maybe a little poetry, things to keep everybody interested. Thank you for your kind, patient listenings. Take care.